Can a novice lawn care business make a profit out of doing garden makeovers for their clients? G'day viewers, it's Jeff McPhee's Gardening, Melbourne, Australia. Today's video I want to talk about making some profit out of doing garden makeovers. There's several things with garden makeovers. It's enjoyable, great satisfaction, and there's a great profit margin. And the other beauty thing of this is, we'll discuss, it doesn't take a lot of effort as far as knowledge of being an expert. Sure, it'll help, and I'll explain later. And later on in the video, I'll just show you my garden creation that when we went from nothing to what we've got now, which involved just a few simple, typical ideas or tips to make it worthwhile. Now, there's a misconception out there that you have to be qualified, you have to have a degree, you have to have a big team of workers, and to be able to be a landscaper. And that is true. You need to do an apprenticeship, and there's a lot of knowledge, especially when you're doing high-end work. And that is left to the landscaper, because we're talking tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases. Today's video, I just want to discuss doing small garden makeovers, small little efforts to make your client happy so that you can make a profit and also enjoy the journey. Now, there's a market for the lawn care business that only mows lawns. There's a tremendous marketing garden makeovers for our existing clients. We've got the advantage because we've already got the client. We're mowing their lawn, and we've probably been doing it for years. But have you ever put to the client saying, gee, I've got some ideas about working to develop an area in your backyard that's going to make it, say, pleasing for you? In these last few years since COVID, people really are tending to stay home in our area. People want a refuge to come home and sit out and have a nice cold wine or a beer, cup of tea, and just sit out and enjoy their garden. And I think with limited knowledge, you can do this. It's something you need to think about. As I said, you don't have to have a degree in landscaping. That's for the big guys. But there's a tremendous market for someone that doesn't have that big team of people or the big knowledge of landscape design. There's a big market for that bottom end. And I think that bottom end is something that a lawn care business probably should consider. So if you're new to the industry and you just started your business off and you're just mowing lawns and you're a little bit apprehensive in trying to do garden makeovers, start small. Say to your client, and they may have an existing client, perhaps offer some mulching. Just a little job like that can make a huge difference. Mulching the garden beds, the contrast between the plants and the garden beds is unbelievable. There's lots of little tasks like that you can do. Planting borders, adding some small annual colour to their garden. Small, hedging and garden cleanups. Just start off small. But the most important thing is to do the before and after shots. Build up a portfolio over the years of before and after. You may have a gravel area that's badly, or garden area that badly needs weeding. You've weeded it out, and you've probably used a decorative stone or something like that, a before and after shot. It's just amazing, especially good for advertising and showing your future clients some of the things you can do. I think one of the biggest things in garden makeovers in your business, it's just a little bit of a diversification, something a little bit different to just mowing lawns. Gives the opportunity to communicate and form that relationship with your customer. Between the two of you can actually design their own backyard. Now, there's some little key issues you probably should learn over the years. And the first one is plant identification. Every lawn that you do and every garden that you tend to, take a photo of the garden and learn about every plant that's in that garden. You've got the internet available to you, and surprisingly, in a short spate of time, plant identification will become quite easy. You don't need to know the botanical names. It's not necessary for your purpose. I'm going to plant some pitostriums, I'm going to do some roses, just some simple terms of plants that you can explain to the client. and have photos, that perhaps we should use this sequence of our layout and work together and come to a nice little design. Another little thing to pick up is just the basic garden design. Learn about having layered effect, larger trees at the back, the smaller shrubs at the front. Just think about just a system that you can explain to your client. We'll screen out a particular area using lily pillies or whatever, but just learn those little basic aspects about layering the garden design. Nothing fancy, just a simple. They may have a great big backyard and you look out and it's just a couple of plants and looking pretty ordinary. Maybe suggest to your client, use the 1/3 rule of a third garden, 2/3 lawn, perhaps. Some people go half and half, but I like thirds. Thirds works in our world. Photography, the rule of thirds. Gardening, the rule of thirds. So a third of the garden, rather than a square garden, put some curves in, add a little bit of interest. And between you and your client, you can come up with a really great design. And because the client is participating in working it out with you, you'll find they won't go anywhere else because they're going to rely on you. Now, even though you don't know a lot when you're starting out, you'll soon learn. You'll start picking it up. And with your passion, you're going to do really well out of it. It's worth thinking about. What's the most important thing, of course, is learn the gardening techniques. Learn how to prepare the soil. The most important thing with plants and why they fail is the soil condition. Is the soil, take soil samples and take them down to your local nursery and give them what they think about the quality of the soil, the pH. And they'll suggest to you whether you should add some, compost or whatever to do. At least you're armed. There's so many resources out there, and one of the nurseries are one of the greatest things to having a relationship with your local nursery. You can learn a lot from them. So soil preparation is so important. So learn that basic concept. Learn how to plant by preparing the hole, not just a single hole that's going to take just the plant, but also work twice, 3 times the width of the pot, so that you can add compost mix in that and then plant your plant out. Learn how to use products, seaweed products to initial plantings to avoid plant shock. Just some basic techniques of gardening, and you'll soon pick it up. Now, it takes many years to become proficient, but when you're starting out, you've got to start sometime. You've got to start somewhere, and I reckon this is a great idea. And the thing is, there's a great profit to be made. I mentioned before, you have your customer, you've already got him, so the profit margin in that is going to be great. You've got markup on your plants and materials. You've got your time involved. Certainly, the client's not going to go anywhere else because they trust you. It's something to put in your arsenal. So as I said before in the video at the start, my garden, you'll see here we've started very basic, nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Terrible soil, clay soil. So because it was clay, we had to add in a lot of gypsum to produce breaking the clay soil down, adding a lot of compost mix in. And the garden design was quite a simple. I love maples, I love roses, we love camellias and azaleas. Those 4 plants, we use them in repetition throughout the garden, as you'll see, and we'll just throw in a few odds and ends. Now, a lot of people, when they do a garden, they just throw lots of plants in without any thought. When you're talking to your client, when you're working out a design, just go simple. 2 or 3 plants, repetitive, look so much better than just a mishmash of different types of plants. So you might want to use 3 or 4 different maples, and then you might underplant them with azaleas and camellias, and then your rose garden, you'll mingle them, interplant them with perhaps some little borders of petunias or annuals, depending on the time of the year. So that's our garden, and we love it, and it's really enjoyable. Yep, look, we've added in some water features, and I showed you my pondless feature in the previous video, and a couple of little waterfalls we've got. But that's we just enjoy it. So if you've got that passion with your garden, and you can work with your client I think it's something that you're going to make that longevity of your business career so much more enjoyable. To mow lawns every day, day in, day out, takes a special person, and they can make a lot of money. I appreciate that. But to have this other side in your arsenal, it just makes life so much more interesting. It just makes you so much more motivated. I just get so much motivated and so much passion about gardening. Love mowing lawns, but I just love creating gardens. And with the right clients, it can work. Look, food for thought, consider it. If you think you don't know anything, have a go. If you don't think it's worthwhile, no, that's fine. Anyway, tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think you should diversify? Do you think you should have these other things, more bows to your strings? What do you think? All right, viewers, we'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching, and please subscribe and share, and please comment. I'd love to hear your comments. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.